or maybe they're counterpicking. Who knows? Who knows at this point what our boys in black and red have concocted and cooked for us today. And hopefully we will get to feast a delicious meal as we destroy ITB, surely.
Well, surely. I don't have the emote, but I really should edit it at some point because I find it funny. Anyway, Frosty, map 1. This is, of course, the ITB pick. ITB having the first pick because they had a higher seed during the season. So this is pretty much going to be us trying to tank the rounds as much as possible and try to get ourselves geared up for our map picks that will be coming up afterwards. So, of course, the map pick that will be coming up afterwards will be Airwalk, which is, as I said, a map where we can actually take advantage and we can actually do a fair bit of, have a fair bit of leeway into it. Airwalk, as I said, like, you said it was kind of MIA versus Alliance, but this is a map where they felt very comfortable on, and Tween was the former world record holder before Mudda went in and basically just stomped everybody in its tracks at the All-Star Championship final. But this is still something where we can have a chance versus ITB. I'm pretty sure. Either way, we're heading into round number 1 now. Nobody going for the ultra risky strat, and already Elcon resetting because he had a misalignment. He was gonna head straight into the side of the ring. Mime also having a bit of a torrid time through there. So that means Kappa and Tween are in there. I thought Tween was actually going to go too far inside, but he managed to make it through without hitting the pillar of the CP. So all things good. So Kappa and Tween having a pretty solid opportunity to open it on a flyer in terms of point scoring. Now, of course I say that, but there's still the identity remaining. We haven't exactly seen, well, we've seen it maybe once, and I don't exactly remember it. So we have to wait and see what the identity does to us. Mime is 6/10 down, so he could still take advantage of a mistake if it does happen. But so far, so good. I don't want to jinx it. I jinxed it nearly too much. But yeah, Tween getting overtaken. Did not have the... I think he was trying to kind of like figure out the final turn as he was not having the best alignment. I'm like, oh, okay, I need to make a 3-point turn. And that allowed mine to go through. 0.428 for Kappa, which is not too bad. I'm actually trying to pull the record. It's a 0.13. It's a 105.134. So we're 1 second away from the world record, but considering that there's plenty of carnage, I mean, we're gonna take it.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, that identity is very difficult because it's not a straight away 360 spin. Yeah. The first one, yes, but the second one is like a delayed 360 spin. I personally. I apologize to the mapper and to Nadeo, but the second half of that identity is just dog, because it is a deconstructed 360, which makes it super awkward to drive and difficult. It's great to watch visually because it makes it more interesting to see everybody make it more chaotic. But as for a driver, I would also hate that because it is such a pain to drive such a wonky 360 spin. That's not really a 360 spin at all. Now, moving on to the second round, Elcon had already made a mistake again, so he is already 3 seconds behind. It's Kappa, Tween, and Mime. Is Mime going to be able to snipe Kappa at the end? He is doing really well, though, at the end. Is it going to be enough? It's not going to be enough. Oh, that was really close. Tween almost got a nose in there, but it wasn't enough. It's going to be another victory for Sinners 4-2.
Man, Tween was really close to actually pull it off and actually guarantee the ace for Sinners because he was trying to go for the full inside, trying to basically just try and pull that trajectory super straight, but unfortunately was a little bit too straight and too early towards the right-hand side, so he was going to hit the wall. Unfortunately, Kappa having a bit of a clip just before the plastic part, but it's okay. I mean, it's just, 4/10 is a pretty significant amount, sure, but it's not that big of a deal because he can still see that, okay, Elcon's having a bit of trouble in that early section. Maybe he's going to be able to pass it now, watch it now. Yeah, there he is. Maybe he threw pretty nice and easy, so I just kind of like reverse cursed Elcon in a way, but yeah, so far he's like, yeah, there's still some opportunities for me to catch back up the crowd, but Elcon, actually, look at the line that he had from the ice. That is so nice and neatly organized, and unfortunately for Tween, we have lost him in the action, and through the ice, that means it will be ITB taking the lead of the proceedings with a 1 second advantage over the nearest Sinners player, so they can take it a little bit steadier as they make it through to the identity to go back into the lead of, well, to go into the lead for the first time in the match with the ace coming up right now with Elcon and Mime trying to safe it all the way through, and that's a nice and neat and tidy, actually, grouped finish from ITB. 25 thousandths between Mime and Elcon, and a 0.984 courtesy of Mime, who will take the individual victory on that one. And yeah, just like that, we have ITB halfway through and with 1 point of a lead over us.
Yeah, unfortunate. The lead that we had grown, unfortunately, was all gone, and that was just due to too many mistakes on the side of our boys. But now they have an opportunity to try to make amends with the mistakes that they have made in the early portion. Reminder that this is ITB's pick, so they should be performing well. And Elcon making a mistake again on that jump.
3 out of 4.
So he's going to fall back. Yeah, he has made a mistake way too many times on that jump. Maybe he should just go for the save option and not risk that so heavily. Now he's 3 seconds behind. So yeah, that's kind of a oof for him. Tween now in the lead at the moment. Kappa making a mistake in that tech section there, that speed tech section, so he's going to fall behind and allow Mime to sneak into second position here. Tween still holding the lead at the moment here, but Mime has shown some good technical expertise on this identity here. So let's see if Tween is able to master this, or is Mime going to be able to snipe him at the end? And Mime is going to be, ooh, that was really close. Tween saving it at the end there, preventing Mime from taking over. And now Sinners has tied it up 6-6.
That was a very, very nice nice save from Tween there. Even though if it was a draw, it wouldn't be that bad of a deal because we would still be within touching distance of ITB. But now we're all tied up in this as we are moving back onto round number 5. And unfortunately for Kappa, having the same problem as Bren a little bit earlier on with losing the, I feel like basically just losing the gear midway through the ice slide, and that means he's going to be out of the running. And also Tween having a bit of a problem on his own through the bump section. Elcon again, 4 out of 5 so far this time, having a bit of a flip moment as well. So that means Mime will be alone in the lead.
He reset again.
Elcon in P3, Elcon in P4, and that means Kappa moving up to 3rd place. This is good for us because that means we still get to keep contact with ITB right now on the score. Meanwhile, Mime is just going to be cruising all the way to the finish line as, yeah, he sees that he has a 2.5 second gap over Tween at the moment, and Tween not really able to catch it back up. I mean, Mime is pretty much the best, the most well-versed in the identity, along with Elcon. Tween having to go a little bit higher compared to Mime as well during the final spin, whereas Mime goes so low and so aggressively towards the apex at the first part. Kappa finishing in 3rd place, so at the very least it is a draw. Both teams on map point though, so we cannot really afford to make any mistake now and have a slight deviation.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy so far with with everything. That was a weird round because everybody was just so split apart from each other. So it was kind of just a waiting game for the round to be over because nobody had made any further mistakes out of the ones they initially made at the beginning. Yep. And so now Elcon really is struggling at this starting portion. Already fallen behind ever so slightly. Kappa making a mistake too. But here's where Elcon really struggles is the jump, but he makes it cleanly this time. He goes safe option this time. Tween leading at the moment, Mime in 2nd, and Mime really is just really good at this map. Look at this. Yeah. He's going to overtake Tween there, and Tween is going to be now behind Mime at the moment. Elcon right on the heels of Tween. Kappa a little bit out of the question here. He is not going to be able to contend unless a major mistake is happening here. Tween going for the outside. Is it going to benefit him? Yes, it is in the interim here as he maintains the 2nd place position. But here we go to the identity. Mime leading at the moment. Should be able to keep it unless Tween is able to keep it. It is getting close. It's going to snipe him at the end. Snipe at the end. That is unfortunate, and that is going to be the ace and the win for ITB.
I mean, to be fair, we did give ITB a run for their money, though. I think we can be proud of that fact because it was not all that easy for ITB, especially with Elcon having his woes at the plastic jump into the reset ring. So, I mean, we did take advantage of that in a sense, but unfortunately, wasn't enough to really steal that map pick away from the blue team as we're moving on to our map pick now, which is going to be Airwalk. This is a map that has been historically good for us as over the course of the map's existence, of course, with the All-Star Championship coming to mind. Did not exactly come to fruition when we played it versus the Alliance, of course, on the Super Weekend, but I don't know, but I feel like we could see Tween going into his element on this map. Same for Kappa, having had plenty of experience and generally liking this map, it seems like, in terms of the rounds they're able to produce. So we're gonna have to wait and see. But round number 1 underway. Everybody going for the left side bumper, nobody going for the right hand side, and the whole shot will be for Mime with a .920. But everybody getting regrouped and staying nicely grouped up just before the jump onto the plastic. Elcon going too far to the left-hand side and clipping, which is going to be benefiting us in the long run. Tween and Kappa leading in the first sector. Mime just behind a 10th. Behind the leader right now, which is currently Marek, solidly into first place, both going a bit wide towards the double right-hander rather, sorry. Mime going a bit closer to the apex, but not able to reel in any kind of advantage. Kappa going a bit closer to the railing that I would have thought he would go, and giving me a little bit of a heart flutter there. But still managing to keep it on the road and continuing to hold the lead just ahead of Tween. Meanwhile, Tween getting reeled in and Mime moving on to the attack for second position, trying to break a point for ITB before the penultimate bumper. Tween is going to be managing to make it through clean without hunting the pole. That must have been inches away from making that contact. As we're moving on to the identity now, Mime is still able to try and pull a second place or even a first place finish out of the hat right there. Is he going to be able to do so? Yes, it is. No, he's going to pull a win, as unfortunately for Kappa, that was a full stop pick in the girders that was supporting the grandstands. That is, yeah, it sucks. It sucks, but yeah, draw at the moment kind of stings, but yeah, it is what it is. as we often like to say. And yeah, the time was a 108.7. The record is currently courtesy of Gwen, once again, with a .223.
You would think with Gwen having all these world records, it would kind of translate into a better record overall, but that shows the power of hunted times versus rounds.
Yep.
Because we see, you know, Gwen in the previous match made a lot more mistakes overall compared to the rest of the players. But when he wasn't making mistakes, he was the fastest. And so, yeah, world records necessarily aren't everything. But as we continue on with round 2 here, Tween is going to be leading momentarily here for the moment. Kappa is not too far behind, sitting 1.13 behind Tween here as we go into a couple bounce section here, and Mime and Elcon now sitting in a beautiful position on this uphill before the identity. But how is it going to be at the identity is the question.
Oh, Kappa
it
going
is
solo.
Going to be Kappa leading, risking really heavily here. Is it going to be enough? It might just be enough. Oh, he got in just barely. Mime and Elcon even tying each other. But Kappa sneaking in right at the end there with that risky jump at the start. That was great.
Wow, the snipe from Martin though. Oh my god, that was juicy, but that was also a bit scary, not gonna lie, because he went super low at the very first jump, as we pointed out, and just tried to basically manage it with the throttle, just releasing at the right time to be okay. I think I can just hit it just low enough so I can barely snipe ahead of him. Meanwhile, Elcon and Mime were forced to release just before the finish, because otherwise they were going to full stop pick like Kappa did in the grandstand just ahead of them. So, yeah, good on Kappa for that particular round snipe. In the meantime, oh, Tween, that's unfortunate. He went a bit too far to the inside and could not exactly pull off the trajectory he needed and clipped with the right front. So that means he will be sent back down to last place, 1.5 seconds down on the leader, which is currently Elcon, pulling a gap on even his teammate. Kappa getting a little bit of airtime through the reactor boost, which is not exactly what you want. So that means, yeah, it is going to be free reign for ITB right now, with Elcon leading Mime by 2.5 tenths of a second. Nice and steady round there from the other Czech driver on the field. As we're moving through the identity, Elcon will miss the bumper outright though, so that means we'll get promoted at the very least one position for both Tween and Kappa. Kappa going too low, one clip at the edge. Where's Elcon? Elcon makes it to the finish line. Oh, that sucks. Oh no. Well, ITB just take a 1-point lead, but ain't no way, man. Ain't no freaking way.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. Kappa, although, I mean, I'm going to be honest, Kappa seems to be making some odd mistakes, might I say. Not even just in the identity, but just in general, especially that reactor boost section. Not sure if he just lost focus or he actually thinks that's where he's supposed to go, because it's not. And yeah, even at the start, he's already behind a 0.1, and this has been the story for all 4 rounds so far, except for the first one, I would say. But yeah, for the last 3 rounds, it's been that mistake every single time. And now, I mean, at least it's close at the moment here, but Kappa needs to be not behind, playing from behind. I mean, at least he has the card up his sleeve with the low airtime jumps that it seems that ITB does not have. But is that going to be enough to allow Sinners to be able to get a map win here against ITB? We're about to see here as we get now towards the end here, going through the 2 bounces. Tween makes a mistake there. And so he is going to fall pretty far behind, but Kappa overtakes Elcon now, and Kappa, is he going to be able to overtake Mime? And he goes so low. Is it going to be enough? It might just be enough. It is going to be enough. And now, where's Tween? Tween overtakes Mime because Mime had a reset, and that is going to be the victory, tying it up.
Mime pulled an Elcon and basically missed the bumper. I didn't catch it on camera because I was so focused on the identity from Kappa, but that identity, once again, that was cash. That was cash money, as the Russian Badger would say, but yeah, I mean, Kappa managing to make amends for, like, the previous round especially, but yeah, maybe playing a bit more conservative during the first sector and knowing that he can pull a lot of that gap back and some more in the final sector, especially at the identity. But yeah, I don't know if it's going to be serving the team all that much, considering how more consistent I think ITB are looking so far as we're moving on to the midway part of the map on round number 5. Still all tied up 5-5. Elcon sliding out a tiny bit, so losing a bit more speed compared to his fellow teammate Mime, who continues to be right up ahead. Well, right up with the Sinners boys in first and second. Kappa and Tween tandeming this together hand in hand as we're moving on to the final sector right now. Kappa Tween still trailing each other by just a few thousandths of a second going through the bumper section. Will Tween make it through clean? Yes, he will be able to do so. Nice and dead center pretty much through the goalpost. Tween getting a little bit of a clip, it seems like, but not that big of a deal. Watch out for Mime and Elcon, though. They're going to try as much as they can to catch back up. Tween getting a little bit of a lighter bumper. It's going to be the ace at the very least. Yeah, they managed to pull through and deliver the goods to actually make the break run 8-5 for Sinners. Kappa with a .559 as well. A mere quote-unquote 0.3 away from the current record, which is not too shabby, as we do have some...
Elcon and Mime!
Yeah, both have it. Well, it's, I feel like it's, it does have a few occurrences, but it seems as though we have witnessed a little bumper malfunction, as I want to coin it now, because, yeah, it's definitely not the first time it's happened, and it certainly won't be the last. It's, I don't know, maybe because of a certain place that you hit the bumper on, but, yeah, you just don't get the speed, or maybe you just don't get the bump at all, and that's it. You're forced to respawn. Here, no respawn, it seems just a very, very low bump, which means that, yeah, we might have the opportunity to take our first map here.
Yeah, well, at this point, I mean, it's Sinner's game to throw away at this point on this map, as Elcon and Mime got bumpered, essentially. They got bumper bugged. So unlucky for them, but hey, great for us. We take those. We take those. Kappa, no, this is not what you're supposed to. Okay,
I think we should have kept our mouth shut. I think we should have kept our mouth shut with that, because Mime is going to be able to slide right in. Elcon is not that far off as well. Now, is Kappa going to have enough speed to pull off a low line? Yeah, Mime is forced to respawn because he missed the bumper outright, and that's it. That's. I mean, even with that scare, we still pulled through. So hey, Airwalk delivered the goods for us for once in the regular season. And that means we have tied up the series for now 1-1, and we're going to be moving back onto a ITB pick, the second ITB pick, I might add, and that is going to be Off-Road, a map that Sinners will be familiar with, of course, with the All-Star Championship, but that historically has not exactly... Well, they've managed to win rounds on the All-Star because it was a bit of a different point, but I feel like ITB, they picked this map for a reason, but they might be able to get onto something, because Mime does hold the current world record with a .153, and as I know, all world records are not exactly the be-all, end-all of determining the ultimate pace, but also worthy of pointing out, it's the first time that we're going to see Sinners play on Off-Road, because it was kind of MIA. We haven't seen Sinners being playing that particular map. It might have been in the map selection, but it did not get played so far in the regular season, so it will be very, very interesting to see how things shake out as we're moving on to the first round, and I'm just going to let you take it away on map 3.
All right, so yeah, Off-Road, a map that I personally like because it is a very flowy map, and Tween, Mime, Elcon, and Kappa are going to be driving through here. I really don't think there's going to be anything crazy until the identity, unless there's a major mess up in any of these transitional elements, but right now Mime and Elcon taking the slight lead here in these transitions. Kappa going really risky on these jumps and is going to get punished for it because he tried to reduce the airtime a little bit too much there. Mime and Elcon now in the I section, the sections that they should be excelling at, and they are with the lead now into the identity. Tween, though, going ahead of Elcon at the moment here, might have the ability to at least play spoiler and not get
he's going full
on,
aggro.
and it's going to be really close here. Tween on the heels of Mime. Is it going to be enough?
No.
It is going to be enough to at least get the victory and prevent the ace, and that is going to be a 2-1 lead for ITB, but a good damage control by Tween.
Yeah, it's really, really good damage limitation there from Tween, and actually going for a very, very aggressive set of corners at the beginning of the final sector with that double left through the grass just before the done onto the freewheel block. Sorry. And he managed to actually pull through and make a really, really nice gap. Unfortunately, it seems like we've seen... Yeah, Kappa had a little bit of a stalling moment through the dirt, so he's going to be losing about half a second due to that particular mistake. Well, I say mistake, it's a bit more of a mishap on behalf of Kappa. In the meantime, Tween is right in the thick of it, continuing to hound Mime and trying to take the challenge to the Polish driver and managing to take over the lead just after the triangle line at the CP, but Mime with so much more speed at the entry of the ice slide compared to the Slovak driver will be able to move up into the lead. Elkon is still in contention as well, so we must not forget the other driver here from ITB, the Czech driver from ITB. Looks as though the positions will stay the same. Can Elkon try to pull something together? No, Tween will be able to resist, I think, all the way up until the end. No checkpoints missed, thankfully, and that means it will be another victory for ITB, who might be continuing to pull the gap, but it's not as big as one might expect for being a strong suit, well, being an ITB pick, essentially.
Yeah, so now we just really are kind of putting the question mark and the eyes on Kappa here, as he's the one who has been struggling the most here so far in the first 2 rounds. Hopefully he's able to rectify this here in this 3rd round here, with Tween now leading momentarily over Mime. Kappa doing well at the moment. Mime making a mistake, though, so he's going to fall back pretty decently there. At least a 0.3, I think it's going to be, 0.6 even. So he's going to fall back really, really heavily there. Kappa now right behind Tween, so they're sitting in an ace position. The ability to overtake.
Tween sliding out.
Tween is going to slide out on the ice section, and Elkon is going to hunt for the snipe over Kappa. Kappa holding him off momentarily at the momentariliness. Kappa, though, still leading, is hopefully going to be able to finish out here. One more section through the trees. Is he going to be able to get all the CPs? Should be able to get all the CPs. Is able to get all the CPs. And Mime really made a big mistake. Is it going to be a victory for Sinners?
A victory for Sinners, and we catch back up the gap. We are down to a single point now with that very gracious offering of points on the part of Mime, although it did nearly get thrown away by Tween with that ice slot. I said did nearly get thrown away. Mime has a 13-second deficit, so he had to really, really search for it if he wanted to actually enforce a draw. But yeah, I mean, Tween, that was a bit of a scare. I mean, he's not the first to falter at that section. He certainly won't be the last to have a little bit of a grip loss through this particular ice slide, but yeah, might be a bit of a free warning there for Tween to keep it in check as we're moving on to round number 4 now. ITB still leading, but by a singular point now in the score on this map. Mime, Kappa, Tween regrouped with each other. Elkon is also right there, though he does take a bit of airtime just before the checkpoint, so he will be dropping a bit of time. 2/10 down now, just before the triangle line at the checkpoint there. Now moving on to the ice slide section. Are we going to see any grip loss? Yeah, Tween for the second round in a row. He's going to be forced to respawn. Even worse than that. That means Kappa is there to try and take up the slack, try to enforce a draw. Let's see if he's able to pull something against Mime, although it's going to be very difficult to dislodge Mime right now, as he's been pretty much flawless through the identity, and it looks as though we'll be taking that path as well, as Mime will be taking the round win with a .383. That ran really fast,
Elkon.
Actually. Elkon mess up? Elkon messed up, so that means we do have a draw after all. Okay, I didn't expect that to happen, but hey.
I don't know what happened to Elkon. He drove, like, I think he hit a tree and drove off to the left, so he completely missed everything.
Could be, yes. And maybe because he hit the tree and had the misalignment as he triggered the checkpoint, he was forced to double. Maybe that's what happened. I'm having a little bit of theory about this. I'm wondering if it's validated. We're going to have to see that section again, but I feel like I do have some understanding of what happened. But yeah, great race otherwise on round number 4 at front.
Yeah, Kappa and Tween, though, having the ability and showing the ability to contest ITB on this map, which is great for them. They should be, honestly, if they would just minimize their mistakes, they could easily have an ace here on their hands with Mime and Elcon on the back foot at the moment here. But this is the moment of truth. Elcon makes a mistake on the entry to the ice. Tween survives at least on the ice, so that's a good point for him. But Mime now in the mix between Kappa and Tween, and so really we are looking at who is going to be able to overtake Mime at the end, and it's not going to be anybody at the moment. Kappa on the heels of Mime.
Oh,
Mime is going to make a mistake,
out.
so now it's a possibility for an ace here. Kappa and Tween, please preach everybody as they avoid the trees. It is going to be a miss, and that's going to be the ace for Sinners. 8-6. Let's go.
And once again, Elcon having some trouble with the line, but I'm pretty sure. Let me just try to free cam this shit. I couldn't free cam at time, just as Elcon crossed the line. Well, whatever. I'm pretty sure we're going to see that from a player.
There's boosters on the left side, though.
Yeah, I know there's boosters on the left side, but he was forced to double respawn once again. So I'm pretty sure there's like a hit of a tree just before the checkpoint trigger, or as he passes the checkpoint trigger, which causes him to be misaligned and forcing him to respawn a second time in 2 rounds. As we already lose Elcon. Well, I say lose Elcon. He went a bit wider than he would have liked to at the exit of the dirt part through the first sector. And this means he will be down to P4, although Kappa has lost a bit of time as well. So it will be down to Tween and Mime to tussle it out for the lead at the moment. As we go through the triangle line right there, Tween and Mime still keeping each other in check. Now through the ice slide, Mime with a bit more speed on the entry. Tween maybe with a better exit. We'll be able to get past Elcon once again. Kappa is a bit further back compared to the fight where he wants to be, but he might be able to take advantage of a mistake from Elcon, maybe through that round, to get back into shape. As we're moving through that identity again, Elcon all the way sideways, so that means Kappa is able to reel him in. Tween is also right there with Mime, but he's not able to dislodge him. In the meantime, the battle for third, and it will be Elcon cracking at the end, meaning Kappa promotes it up to third. 9-7 for Sinners. We might have the chance to stifle the momentum of ITB and take their map pick here.
Yeah, we might be able to not only take the map pick here, but go up 2-1 in the series. And it's giving me heart palpitations already because I don't want to be huffing the copium too early. Like I'm already feeling the adrenaline here at the moment here. But let's try to finish this map. Mime and Elcon could pull off an ace if there are major mistakes on the side of Tween Kappa, but that is a good sign with Elcon making the first mistake so far. Tween Kappa pulling ahead of Mime in this transitional section at the moment. Tween and Kappa still holding, but are they going to be able to survive in the ice section? Tween has been having struggles, but he's not struggling this time. He's going to make a good exit here. Mime is side by side with Tween here. All they need to do is just finish cleanly, and we have a map 2 win on our hands, boys. Kappa leading at the moment, far and ahead, is actually making some good time.
Touching.
Mime makes a mistake, and that's going to be likely the ace here, hopefully. I don't want to speak too soon.
It is.
We got it. It's an ace, and that is going to be a map 2 win for Sinners. A 59-5-9 for Kappa, 0.4 behind world record, and what an insane result.
Man, we need that. 12-7 as well. That is nothing to scoff at, especially on the map pick from ITB. We're going to be moving on to our second map pick, which, well, the second map pick from Sinners, map number 4 in the best of 7. It is going to be Control. This is a map where Kappa is feeling pretty comfortable. Remember, he was the former world record holder before. Basically, it was OTAC to dislodge him, a .292 for OTAC, the current world record. But before that, the fastest time was courtesy of Kappa with a .390. So we know Martin can be a very, very fast boy, and he proved to be a fast boy on multiple occasions, but this is now the moment where we need to pounce, and we need to take advantage of our map pick to the fullest, as we're already getting onto round number 1.
What? It would be insane answered prayer to end this winning drought of 2 stages thus far to be able to get a win, but we still have a mountain to climb. We may be ahead of ITB, but they could easily come back and take it over. Luckily, like you said, this is controlled. This is a map pick of ours. Kappa making a mistake early on at the moment, but Tween is leading for now. Kappa is not too far behind the rest of the pack, but Elcon and Mime are on the heels of Tween, so Tween has the pressure on him for now. Mime and Elcon doing really well. Mime now overtaking Tween as Tween had to take a wider line but this landing on this identity, Mime is going to get a bad landing, is going to get ejected slightly to the back there. And so now it is Tween ahead in the lead again. Elcon is in third. Kappa not too far behind, within striking distance if a major mistake is made. Kappa now in contention against Elcon, as Elcon is falling slightly behind. Tween is leading at the moment here into the second jump. Tween should be able to maintain his lead. Mime is still behind him. Elcon sitting in third. Kappa not too far behind. Tween, is he going to be able to maintain his lead? Yes. Is it going to be enough to get a victory? No, it's not. It's going to be a tie, but that is a fantastic performance by Tween.
That was a tense round all the way through, though, it must be said. Kappa not having the best of the landings and that top of the bubble. Your goal is to try and get as smooth of a landing with as little airtime as possible at the top of that little bubble part. Here, well, I say convex. Well, yeah, I think it's convex. I'm pretty sure in terms of like how the shape is. But yeah, you have to be so careful about that particular landing, because if you get a double bounce or if you don't land enough, you get too much airtime, then you're going to be completely done for and be left in the dust as we're moving on to that particular section. See, he went a little bit too far wide, opened the corner a little bit later just to be safe. But that means he will be falling back at 10th down on Mime and Elcon. Tween has fortunately clipped just before checkpoint 2, so he will be down a second compared to the leading duo of Elcon and Mime at the present time. Although we have to see the exit of the bobsled. So far so good though for the leading duo. Mime went a bit too far to the inside, and with the slightly smaller turning radius, Mime got a little bit tricked out. It means he head on first.
Mime messed up again.
Yeah, Mime messed up again. He went head on first into the wall, and means Tween will be moving up into third place. My English is continuing to fall apart as time goes on. This is absolutely crazy, and I'm absolutely apologizing for this, guys. But yeah, Elcon continuing to lead, 4/10 up on Kappa. I mean, we just might as well take the draw at this point, because it is still a pretty solid ground, because we are not giving up any kind of advantage to ITB, even though we're not making any headway towards map number 3 being ours. But I mean, we still take those.
Yeah, and I mean, Elcon got a really good time there. 10.5 is what I think I saw there. And that is about 0.3, almost 0.2 behind world record at the moment, which is a 110.2 by OTAC, as we talked about earlier in last match. And we saw OTAC do really well in that setting there against G1. Yes, using brains here.
Yeah, G1.
Yes. Yeah, it was G1. Good. All right. Using brain here. All right. Now, into the third round, Tween and Kappa here, having not made any mistakes so far, so that's a good sign. We're in the match this round. Elcon falling slightly behind, allowing Tween to get a lot of speed into that jump. Mime, however, even having more speed, is going to be able to pull ahead of Tween for right now here. So now we get to this kind of feathering the throttle here section before we get to the final 2 jumps, as we go through a slight solemn section. And now here it comes. Elcon has fallen behind. Tween and Kappa on the heels of Mime at the moment.
Mime going wide.
Mime had to go wide there, and now Tween has the opportunity to overtake Mime, taking it super tight end. Is it going to be enough? It's not going to be enough, and it's going to be the victory for Sinners there. That was so close. 1800ths of a second.
I mean, I'm making noises, but I think they're warranted, because that was so close, with Tween managing to hold the fort all the way to the end. I mean, he must be thankful that it was another situation like Binks had during the match versus the Marine Corp, where Mime went a little bit too far off to the outside of the landing, which means he opened up. He had the corner being opened up a little bit wider than he would have liked it to, which means that Tween was able to retain that lead, but only just, and ensure that we do get the 2 points for the W. In the meantime, Kappa again having a little bit of difficulty, but he might be taking a bit more of a safer approach for that little bubble top, but it ends up costing him dearly. Currently a quarter of a second down on Tween, currently sitting in the leading position, going a little bit wider, carrying a bit more speed before the jump into the bobsleigh part. Elcon going way high into that bobsleigh section. Mime getting a much better exit there from that bobsleigh, so he will be moving a bit closer to Tween here as we're moving on to that little releasing section. Just tap, tap, taparoo on the throttle. Tween, Mime, Kappa in that order. Elcon way far down, a second down compared to the leading trio with the identity right now. Mime going a little bit lower, trying to recoup a lot of the time. And look at this, the speed he was able to carry through means he will be rolling into the lead ahead of our Slovak player. He tries to go a little bit lower to compensate, going to the line. Oh my god, 0.029. That is a close margin indeed, but Mime this time was on the good side of the fence, which means it is a draw, but it also means that we still lead by 1 point.
honestly, what an entertaining performance by both teams so far. It's been back and forth, which I really don't appreciate, but appreciate at the same time. Appreciate from a caster perspective, but from a fan perspective of Sinners, it's giving me heart palpitations, and I can't handle it at the moment. But Mime right now leading ahead of everyone else. Kappa, I think you're right on that, is going for a safer approach and does seem to lose ever so slightly some momentum compared to the rest of the field on that. But right now, Mime is on a really good pace, 0.1 ahead of both Kappa and Tween. Elcon still in the mix for it right now here, but let's see how it goes on the first jump. Everybody getting it pretty clean. Kappa actually losing time, and Tween as well. So now Mime and Elcon sitting in a very prime position to potentially get an ace here, but anything can change here, especially in these couple last sections. Elcon and Mime fairly synchronized at the moment here as well, with a almost 0.3 lead over the duo.
Oh, Elcon
making the first mistake, and Mime also going really low, but is able to maintain it and not make a mistake. Kappa made a mistake too. It's down to the line between Tween and Mime. No, it's not. All right, it's Mime. I'm getting excited.
Oh no, Kappa! Come on, turtle,
Kappa.
Turtle. Elcon is respawning. He's gonna turtle in third place. Let's go. What
is going on?
Man, Elcon is all the way back there. What the hell happened?
Ain't no way.
I think I'm going insane, guys.
Fiesta.
I think I'm going insane, but just trying to get words out and like turtle. I feel like that Lemmy clip where you know Lemmy, right? I feel like that Lemmy clip where he tries to pronounce purple. I feel like him right now. Like I don't know why, but I feel a connection to the Scottish people for some reason, even though I don't have their accent. I don't speak like them. Either way, moving on to round number 6, we continue to hold the lead by the tiniest of. I say tiniest margin so often, but we're basically just hanging on by a thread. That's basically the story so far on this map, as we see Elcon having a bit more speed just before heading into the bobsleigh jump. Mime going for a bit more of a conservative line, but Tween with so much speed at the exit will be able to overtake everyone in one fell swoop through the double right-hander, moving up into the lead. Kappa still in fourth, but within touching distance of Mime and Elcon, and trying to make a move on Mime as well for at least third place. Mime going a little bit wide, allowing Kappa to move into third place at the split, but it's still within a few thousandths of a second. Tween going a little bit lower at the entry. Elcon trying to overtake Marek for the lead. He's still side by side. Mime crashing out on the outside. Tween going a little bit lower compared to Elcon. He's going to be able to retain the lead and take the win at the very least for Sinners. We continue to build the gap at the... This is insane. 8-6. We are just 2 points away from continuing to press our advantage on ITB.
Wicked. Yeah. Whew. All right. So yeah, we have a moment to breathe for a second here. Sinners only 2 points away from getting a map 3 win, which is a situation they have not been in since they're actually at all. If I remember correctly, they've only ever gotten 2 map wins in any match thus far.
Yeah,
that
in the regular season, that is true. If you're talking about just regular season matches, we've never won more than 2 maps in any given match. But this is a prime opportunity right here to break that statistic and break that curse in a sense, as we're currently seeing Tween having a really nice start for himself. Also Kappa not too shabby, right within touching distance of the ITB duo. First and third would be enough. Even if we just have a third place with Tween leading, that would be it. Mime trying to retake that lead away from Marek. Kappa not having the best of exits from the ice bobsled section. Yeah, he went way too wide, forced to release a ton, as that allows Elcon to pull away. Mime getting a little bit antsy there, trying to press on an advantage over Tween, but Tween is still right there after the snaking section. It's a 3-way fight for the lead. This is 2 tenths to call as we're moving on to the identity. Mime with a bit more speed on the entry, but Tween with the lower line will be taking the lead. Elcon is still right there with him. He must not relent anything, and that's going to be the win individually for Tween and the draw at the end of that round. But what a race. 1/10 between first and third. Just nothing to call it between them. Now we have a bit of a dangerous situation. We may just need 1 point, but we should not let basically ITB tie the game back up. They just need an ace, but we're always that close to having a disaster, so we have to pray. Praise in the chat.
Yeah, this is always the moment where everybody's clenching their butt cheeks, because honestly, this is the point where it gets a little antsy history has shown it gets very antsy at this point for us on the side of Sinners. But Tween right now leading at the moment over Elcon and Mime. Everybody still relatively within striking distance of each other. Kappa is the back marker, as he has been for pretty much every round thus far, but he's still been able to keep in competitiveness with the rest of the match thus far. Now ITB sitting in a better position over Sinners, which is not what we want to have. Kappa has done really well in this release section, is able to gain a lot of ground compared to the rest of the field. But now we are getting towards the end, and it is not looking good so far. We really do need a mistake from the side of ITB. They might be able to clutch it here.
Really mine, I'm pretty sure.
Kappa has the opportunity to overtake.
Go on, Martin!
Is it going to be able to
Go on,
overtake?
Martin!
It's going to be really close. It's going to be down to the line.
Let's
it's
go!
Kappa taking it in, and that is going to be the map win for Sinners, and Sinners is up 3-1 for the first time ever this entire regular season.
Oh my god, and thus we enter map 5 with the potential to close this one on and take our first regular season victory in the history of Sinners in the Trackmania World Tour stages. We're going to be moving back onto an ITB pick though. We're moving on to Breaking, which is, yeah, I mean, ITB did pick it. I'm pretty sure we did play it. Let me try to get the map results. Breaking. Yeah, we did play it versus Solary. We lost out 10-6 versus Solary. In terms of the track record for ITB, actually, the only time they played Breaking, they lost against Alliance. They lost, well, 12-3, it seemed like. So, I mean, I know Alliance is not losing against Alliance. It doesn't really give us a good base to go off of, but still, we might still have a chance to get them on another map pick from theirs.
I mean, there's an opportunity. I mean, right now, honestly, and we have to be very objective with how I'll try to be as objective as possible with how I say this. But Elcon has been underperforming tremendously. I hate to point out individuals because Mime has made some mistakes as well, but really this has been major issues on the side of Elcon for ITB. He has consistently been the one making the most mistakes and not even finishing a lot of rounds, just giving up way too early on so many maps. And so now here we see an opportunity. Kappa, yeah, getting really close on that side there.
I mean, but he touched it. He touched the CP. I saw it. I saw the card basically just have a twitch when he touched the CP. That was so scary.
Yeah, but I mean, as we're going through this map, it really is down to whether Elcon can get himself together enough to be able to come back and help ITB get a win. At the moment, though, they are struggling with an opportunity for Sinners to get the ace here. Mime is on their heels, though, however. Is Kappa and Tween going to be able to hold it? No, it's not. Kappa is going to make the first mistake. Mime on the heels of Tween. Mime makes a mistake as well.
But Tween's full stopping as well. Tween forced to respawn. Kappa moving. No, Kappa is also forced to basically yield.
What is happening?
Oh, no. That means it's... Oh, no. That's so painful. Tween cannot correct this slide in time, and that means it is the ace for ITV. That is
no.
I mean, pain, but it was pain for both sides because I mean everybody for that matter was except for Alcom maybe, who was the only one to not make any. Not put any foot wrong, so to speak. But
all people.
Of all people.
I just had this.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we're saying. Like when we point out mistakes, he gets everything in check. We reverse curse him in a sense. But yeah, it kind of sucks to have that kind of round unfold, doesn't it? As we're going to be moving on to.
That's unlucky.
Yeah, very unlucky. Moving on to round number 2, though. We are seeing, Tween and Mime having a pretty solid start. Now, is Kappa going to have another close call at the CP just before the ice line? I want to see that. He's going to be toe-to-toe with his fellow compatriot, Alcon. Now, moving on to the ice line. No, this time he takes a bit more of a safer approach. Thank God. He's not going to give me a heart attack this time. Mime and Tween, first and second, still going neck and neck. A bit of a better exit for Mime, but he actually touches the pole very heavily. Not even the pole, it's basically a neon sign. Well, not a sign, it's basically a neon bar, an illumination on the side of the track, and that is going to be sending him out of contention. In the meantime, Elcon is trying to pick up the slack and trying to force the draw to prevent Sinners from closing back the gap that they just opened up with that early ace. As we move on to the identity, Kappa leading by 2/10 to 3/10 ahead of Elcon. Tween a further half a second down, but we're still not safe from seeing mistakes from one another. Elcon going so close to the edge of the track, Kappa sliding out, and that means Elcon will inherit first place and take the win individually. Second place for Tween, Mime in third place, and that means ITB continue to widen the gap. Sorry, 5-1. I feel like
I feel like sorry.
I feel like the reason why well, Sinners are not really familiar with that map. I mean, it's one of the newer maps. We haven't played it in the All-Star Championship, and we only played it once, and we haven't been feeling that comfortable compared to ITB on the Identity. So, yeah, it feels as though, yeah, a pick that might be working for Blue Team at this point.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was a major issue with Kappa, especially on that second slide on the second half of the Identity, where he actually didn't break really that much at all. He didn't get the drift. His line was completely straight, so we got a no slide essentially on that second bridge. And that means, I mean, if you're not going to get a drift at all, that means you're going to essentially crash every single time. There's no way you can reduce your speed enough to be able to prevent crashing. So that is why Kappa made the mistake at that point. But I mean, you see Sinners here, they have the pace all the way up until the Identity essentially. So if they can just clean up the Identity, then they have a potential ace on their hands here, even as Elcon is 0.2 behind. So Kappa Tween sitting pretty at the moment here, getting really close on the left side. They have to slow down just a little bit. Just take it safely, guys. It's okay.
There
you can
we
do that.
go.
And they are going to be able to get it safely. And that is going to be the ace for Sinners, almost tying it up 5-4 at the moment in the lead for ITB. But
yeah,
now we can breathe somewhat of a sigh of relief.
Yeah, we can get a little bit of a breather. 113.5 for Kappa. For reference, the world record is a .035 from Gwen here on this map. But yeah, we have a bouncer. That's been a long time. Caught in 1080p moment. We have a bouncer for the first time in a long time. Actually, first time since the All-Star Championship. And the first matches on grip, actually. So this is a very rare occurrence, but that's going to be benefiting us because it doesn't affect any of the red team. So yeah, he hopped, but the hop is going to cost him 10 seconds to Alcon, which means Mime is all alone to try and fend off the assault of Sinners, which has a prime opportunity to either tie the game up or take a 2-point lead going into the next round. So far, Kappa Tween teaming this together at the exit of the ice slide, nice and easy, avoiding the contact with the left-hand side wall. Nice and done, nice and smooth. Mine continuing to try and find an opportunity, trying to find an opportunity to strike, but so far, no mas. Maybe Tween now slowing down, but he will be touching at the apex. Kappa forced to slow down. Yeah, plus that's an engine cut. That means he's forced to respawn. He touches before the no break section. That's even the worst part. And Tween is also Tween is further up ahead, so that's also fine. But yeah, we're having a little bit of a zany round. Tween finishing with a .645 as well. That is a very, very respectable time. Elcon is way far down the order. I don't know if it's maybe having an issue, if he's just trolling, but yeah, he just gave up. And that means it will be a 6-6 scoreline. We're all tied up again.
Is he stuck there? Oh, well,
I mean, I don't know. Did you see how he bumped? Basically, he had to bump and touch the top of the CP as he crossed the checkpoint trigger. So, this is pretty much a game over whenever that happens.
All right, well, tied 6-6 right now for Sinners. Almost had an opportunity to be up 7-4, but that was, or 7-5, but that was not going to happen, unfortunately, with the mistake by Kappa there. So now we are in a tied game situation, but we are so close to having a potential first win on our hands, and I wouldn't say super dominant, but a convincing fashion if they were to end the map here, or end the match here. So, Tween doing really well on this round so far. Mime and Elcon stuck with Kappa, and Tween has been doing insanely well this match, I would say. I'm very impressed with how much Tween has improved compared to stage 1, where Tween was constantly the one making the mistakes. As I'm talking about him, he makes the mistake. And now it's Kappa being the one that's been struggling and kind of being the back marker for Sinners. But now it is Mime leading ahead of Kappa. Kappa in second place over Elcon. Is it going to be enough, Kappa? Do you have enough time? You have enough time, I think, to make it, and you are going to at least force the victory rather than the ace. We'll take that. It's not what we want, but we'll take that. And ITB is going to pull ahead 8-7.
Now ITB trying to get a bit of a wake-up call there and trying to get themselves back on their feet after having conceded one of their map picks and also not having the best of start on their final map pick, because this is their last chance. If they lose this round on an ace, for Sinners, it is game over, and that would be a 0-4 record for the season so far for ITB. And yeah, they're trying their best to try and mitigate that situation, force the issue at the very least on speed, which is our map pick, so it could be a good omen for us, but it could also be a bit of a two-sided coin this, as we're moving on to the ice slot with Mime and Tween in the lead, Kappa and Elkon third and fourth. Tween touching the side of the circle, gets the loss of grip at the very edge, and that means Elkon promoted up to third. Yeah, that might be the map win for ITB on a very, very thin razor's edge, though. That was a little bit of an unfortunate thing for Tween to happen. As we're moving on to the identity, that's an oof. Kappa
might have something to say.
Yeah, Kappa's having none of that. Oh, watch out, Martin! Don't get too hot too fast. Mime managing to reel him in. This is gonna be super close. Mime has a faster exit compared to Kappa historically on this map, and yeah, it's gonna be the GG. GG to ITB, who take that map 113.4 as well. I mean, that was nothing to scoff at. Tween also got stuck. Basically, that's just game over for this map. So, I mean, map 5, breaking. That was an ITB pick. They did get their pick, but it could have been oh so different as well for ITB. They could have lost that game there. I mean, we're still continuing to give them a run for their money as we're going to be moving on to our next map pick. As I said, it could be a double-sided coin, but historically speaking, this map has been really good since its inception. It is, of course, speed, as your face was on screen again. I thought I'd put the map preview on, but yeah, maybe the blessing of your face might bring a little bit of good luck to Kappa Tween.
All right, so speed. This is a map that I don't know. What would Sinner? Is this Sinner? I think Sinners likes control more than anything else, right?
No, speed is really their OG pick. Speed is really their OG pick, and the map where they feel the most comfortable. And one of the maps where they feel the most comfortable, along with control and airwalk.
So okay, so speed is what it's going to be, and speed is what we're going to get here for map 6. And yeah, Sinners has the opportunity to end it here still. A 4-2 win is still convincing. So this is something that they could definitely be proud of regardless. I mean, they're going to be proud and celebrating regardless because they finally got a win. But I mean, hey, it would be great to end it right here, right now.
I mean, we win and lose as a team. I have to say that, Import. We don't have to say they. We have to say we won. We won as a team. We win and lose as a team, as a famous 7-time world champion has said from another discipline. Either way, midway through the round, Mime, Tween, Elkon, and Kappa 1, 2, 3, 4 so far. Mime having managed to overtake Tween just before the dirt section, but does not get the smoothest of landings. Manages to get away with it by having a bit of a nosedive, but Tween and Elkon zoop by past him in first and second place. Kappa is also up into third now, as we're moving on to the final sector with the snake section and the no slide for the Elkon indeed, as we're moving Kappa up into second place. Tween in the lead by about 0.2 of a second, 0.3 even through the identity we go. Mime carrying a bit more speed on the entry, but both Mime and Kappa touching. Elkon moving up into second place as a result of this. Tween will win with a 104.935. We start off with a draw, so that means it is going to be a 1-1 to start off, but yeah, again, identity, bit of a coin flip on that one, and yeah, hopefully it doesn't come back to bite us.
Yeah, some odd mistakes, especially on the side of Kappa. What I was trying to say last match, and hopefully I'll get to explain it this time, is it's kind of funny how on this stage the roles have reversed for Sinners. Typically it was Tween being the back marker for the side of Sinners, and now it's Kappa, which is a very impressive performance from Tween. He's shown a massive amount of improvement. On the side of Kappa, it seems like he's seemingly struggling on just keeping up the pace and his reactions, because he's prone to making a lot more mistakes, I've noticed. It's not so much a line issue as he's just not making the proper adjustments in this map. But unfortunately, now as we're focusing on this second round here, Mime and Elkon take the lead.
Elkon did not get the right line.
Elkon making a mistake in almost a similar area. But right now, Tween and Kappa sitting second and third. Mime is slaloming in the first place. So Mime is leading at the moment here. Tween and Kappa trying to make the slalom cleanly and everything are going to be able to make it, but Mime is going to be in first place, and Tween and Kappa are going to finish second, third, respectively, and that's going to be another tie, 2-2.
And another, I guess it's another blue pill being swallowed there, and thus we are still sitting on a level playing field, 2-2. Round number 3. I mean, So far, no clear. I mean, so far, no clear trend. That's pretty much what I say. So far, there's not really any clear trend to be taken away from these 2 rounds. There's been a few blunders on round 1, but not that much to really discuss about. And it might very well be an even closer another very close matchup here. I mean, might even get into overtime. I'm not even ruling that particular possibility out of the question as we're moving through that first high-speed section. Kappa just leading ahead of Elcon. Now, through the drop-down, we know that the ITB boys are able to carry a bit more speed than Sinners. Elcon on 2 wheels, just fully sending it. Kappa just barely brushing the wall, and that's going to impact that landing there. Yeah, he's just going to release, try to get it as cleanly as can be with the amount of speed that he had left, and yeah, that means Tween is all on his own now. But now, again, ITB with a prime opportunity to try and salvage the lead from that particular standpoint and try to mount a challenge back after being on the brink of death in the previous map. Mime touching the pole though. Elcon will be making it safe and easy. Tween reeling him in a tiny bit, but it's not enough to curtail the advantage of Elcon, who finishes with a 105.0. Kappa up into 3rd though after Mime's mistake, which means we again go on another draw.
I'd rather a draw than a victory.
Yeah.
Or an ace for that matter. So, yes. Hopefully we can maybe break a little bit of this momentum that ITB is gaining. And I say momentum as in the ability to stop Sinners from closing it out here and now. Sinners really should be able to close it out here. They just have to minimize these mistakes they've been making, especially in terms of in this section here. They seem to be making mistakes. Tween already losing a ton of speed compared to Kappa there in that speed section. And now Elcon Mime makes a mistake. I believe that was Mime brushing the wall, so he's falling back.
You say Tween loses compared to Kappa, but Tween's going a bit more safe. But you gotta say Elcon is just fully sending it, and he's able to carry so much more speed through the dump down that both Kappa and Tween combined. So it's really more the threat of Elcon that we have to point out, rather than the slumps maybe from a few players on our side. That's Tween unfortunately hit. Yeah, just get there's no slide as well, allowing Mime to move through into 3rd place. Elcon going very wide though. It's not all rosy there for the Czech driver from ITB up front. He's still going to be able to retain the lead. Kappa is going to be kept at bay for now. That means it will be the victory for ITB with a 104.895 for Elcon. Good time being driven up front. But yeah, that means ITB take the lead by a singular point.
All right, now it's Monka-esque situation for us, I think, at the moment here, because it's getting really tight, and map 7 situation is just going to be pain. It's going to be painful to deal with, and it's something that I would prefer not to have to deal with here. So I would appreciate it, and I think everybody would appreciate it if we can win and end it right here and now. Kappa doing a good job, again, leading in the speed section here. Elcon making a touch, so that's a really good result so far. Kappa and Tween at the moment sitting
Mime touching as well.
Mime touched as well, so Elcon sitting pretty far behind. Kappa and Tween, all they have to do, they just have to drive cleanly. That's what we're asking for. Everybody praise really quickly for our men as they are trying to drive to the finish here. Kappa and Tween now getting into the sausage section here, and Tween made a mistake at this drift here, not making the mistake this time. Kappa losing a little bit of speed. Elcon on the heels of Kappa at the moment, going wider to try to gain some more speed. Tween and Kappa going through the identity. Is it going to be enough? Tween has to slow down. Kappa is also slowing down. Elcon speed is going to overtake, and that is going to be Elcon sniping at the very end, saving ITB from an ace or even a victory. And that is unfortunate, but at minimum, it is a tie.
I mean, you can't blame Kappa and Tween for what they did. I mean, they just had to save. They just wanted to save the finish. But yeah, Elcon just pulling out all the stops at the very end there to try and basically get a few more points on the board for ITB in the process, and that worked out for well for ITB, who continued to lead by 1 point, 6-5 now, and we're getting dangerously close to map point as well for ITB. They just basically need 1 point, and that's it. They are on map point, but so far so good for our boys. Kappa and Tween first and second, and Elcon, we're going to follow him closely here at the exit of the chicane. He manages to reaccelerate a little bit earlier compared to Mime, and also carries a fair bit more speed with a better line compared to his teammate, who seems to have hit the wall. Once again, it's like 3 for 4. 3 out of 6 rounds. Maybe he has had that little wall touch at the apex there. Kappa having a bit of a torrid time again at the landing on the plastic, just like Mime had. but it seems as though he manages to make it through unscathed. Elcon will be taking a bit of airtime though, so that is going to be going in our favor. Elcon trying to recoup with a very aggressive entry to the snaking section. This is so close. Tween, Kappa, Elcon, but Elcon has a fast identity, and we know that. We've seen it previously, and he tries to pull it off once again. This is going to be super good. Then it's going to be the ace for Sinners, 8-5. We're so close. We're so fucking close. Sorry for the swear words, but we're so freaking close.
Everyone prayed.
Everyone prayed. If you don't mind, if you don't mind, if I want to, do you mind if I try to call the game-winning round?
No, go ahead.
I know I might be cursing this as I say these words, but we have a very real possibility. We're currently leading by 2 points, and if we get a first and third, this is it. We win the game 4-2. Get all the copium you need, chat. This is the time to huff it as much as you can. Don't hyperventilate, though. That's bad for your lungs. As we're moving on to the fast section, Elcon, Kappa for now. First and second, Mime toe-to-toe with Tween, and it seems as though Mime has released a tiny bit more compared to Tween to recoup a lot of that speed into the drop-down, and that's going to be working out for the Polish driver as Elcon takes over the lead. Kappa is getting reeled in by Mime. This is going to be a bit of a bad news bear situation. Tween is also a bit further down than he would like to be. Kappa going for the super aggressive inside line at the plastic jump. Elcon, Mime, first and second, continuing to pile on the pressure. Mime getting a little bit slower compared to his teammate. Now we have to pray for a potential mistake from ITB in order to get the positions that we need, but so far there's not really any cracks in the armor to show. Elcon is half a second ahead of his teammate. Identity coming up. Mime getting reeled in by Kappa. Elcon continues to lead. Kappa gets way too far down. Tween will be taking at least the point for them for Sinners. Kappa in P4. 9-8. This is too close to call, Aaron. Oh my god.
I don't know what to do. Round 8's coming in 9-8
I don't have
right now.
I don't have my smartwatch on, but I'm pretty sure I'm like close to 150. I'm like close to 150 on the BPM.
I was holding my face the entire time, like in cringe for the fact that I feel so much stress right now. We're so close. The finish line is right there.
P1, P4.
If they can just get it through.
P1, P4.
P1? That's all we need. Just P1.
P1. Just P1, P4. I'm stating the outcome of the round we need, but so far, still advantage ITB at the end of this first sector. At the end of the mid-map, they're still able to pull a significant advantage compared to Sinners over that section. They're able to recoup a lot of the time they're lost on the first sector there, but Elcon and Mime are still not out of the woods just yet. Kappa is still right there, snapping at their heels, continuing to pile on the pressure. Mime taking a bit of airtime. Is it going to be a good omen? I don't know. Snaking section coming in. Elcon still leading by about 2/10. Mime is still going down to the neck, but Elcon doesn't get the slide. Kappa up into the lead. Tween up into P3. Come on, the identity. We gotta make it through. Mime touches the wall. We go with the ace. We win 4-2. I feel so alive. We have won the match. First win in the Trackmania World Tour Stage 2 of the Trackmania Grand League. Go on, son. I'm so fucking happy.